Okay, so our topic was training and development managers. So what is a training and development manager? Training and development managers run the training and development departments of medium-sized businesses to large multinational corporations in order to provide the most effective and efficient staff training and development for company employees. So the typical job duties of a training and development manager. They oversee training and development staff. They assess employees' needs for training. They're also responsible for developing training methods and programs that use the business's resources in an appropriate manner. They review training materials from different vendors, maintain training programs ensuring they are kept up to date and relevant, and they evaluate the training program's effectiveness and recommend or implement changes accordingly. So where can you see training and development managers fit into businesses? Training and development managers oversee a company's training specialists. Depending on the size of the firm, they generally report to human resources manager, operations manager, or a CEO. The skills that training and development managers need to possess and why. The skills that are required for them to do their job are as follows. They need business skills, communication skills, critical thinking skills, decision-making skills, collaboration skills, and leadership skills. Training and development managers need to be able to identify the training needs of an organization and recognize where changes and improvements can be made. This may require working in concert with staff, trainees, subject matter experts, and organization's leaders. Their education and professional certification. They need a bachelor's degree, which is required, in one or more of the following: human resources or business administration. A master's degree is not required, but if you want to get to those higher level jobs, you could be a training and development manager, vice president, human resources management, vice president, or even entrepreneur. The work experience in a related occupation. The related work experience is essential for training and development managers. They need experience in the industry, experience in information technology as organizations introduce more e-learning and technology-based tools. The potential career map, start with your goal in mind. Corporate America, they would need a bachelor's degree and at least 5 years in a related field. Can lead to the position of a training and development manager. They could be a trainer, a career and technical education teacher, or even a post-secondary education administrator. Entrepreneur, a bachelor's plus master's degree. Any previous role that gains them experience and confidence. Previous business, nonprofit, they need to learn to be able to not be afraid to ask for money. And then an entrepreneur can lead to a much higher income ceiling. So what other professions would qualified individuals also be qualified for? They could be qualified for career and technical education teachers, and they instruct students in various technical and vocational subjects, such as auto repair, healthcare, and culinary arts. Teach academic and technical content to provide students with the skills and knowledge necessary to enter a corporation. Human resources manager, they plan, direct, and coordinate the administrative functions of an organization, oversee the recruiting, interviewing, and hiring of new staff, and consult with top executives on strategic planning. They serve as a link between an organization's management and its employees. Post-secondary education administrators, they oversee student services, academics, and faculty research at colleges and universities. And then their jobs duties vary depending on the area of college they manage, such as admissions, student life, or the registrar's office.
Demand for the training and development managers, we have 3 of them. How firms decide to hire training and development managers, value of training and development managers to business, and what are the drivers for demand for training and development managers by business. How firms decide to hire training and development managers. They have to maintain a competitive edge and to maximize profit. The value of training and development managers to businesses is allowing firms to stay innovative and provide new or improved services goods. Allow for firms to produce their respective goods and services at a lower price through efficient training of staff. Deliver through thorough and focused approach to a staff development and training. Measures workers' productivity and improvement. What are the drivers of demand and for the training and development managers by businesses? Demand for training and development managers is highest in tech, professional, scientific industries. Another area is of high demand in enterprise constellation management firms. Many companies do not view employment development through training programs as a priority. This may be a high enough number to keep overall demand for training and development managers for increasing. Demand on whether this lacks of demand is a greater force than the demand of trainers to replace the retiring ones. Overall demand may drop somewhat.
We got supply for training and development managers. Recognize the labor market is a research market and individuals represent the supply for this profession. With the videos I've seen, it talks about how supply is affected when a worker leisures instead of work, so the amount of leisure time is cut down. It also talks about what are the determinants of supply for training and development managers by businesses, the age of the firm, the size of the firm, nature of control, and the growth of employees. The nature of control affects the training intensive of the business. A business unit may be controlled and managed either by the owner, manager, or paid manager. Some argue that paid managers tend to invest more in the training managers or the training development.
I'll do my best here. Sorry if I choke up at all. Okay, our topic was training and development managers. So a training and development manager run the training and development departments of medium-sized businesses to large multinational corporations in order to provide the most effective and efficient staff training and development for company employees. So the typical duties of a training and development manager. They oversee training and development staff. They assess employees' need for training. They are responsible for developing training methods and programs that use the businesses' resources in an appropriate manner. They also review training materials for different vendors, maintain training programs ensuring they are kept up to date and relevant, and they evaluate the training program's effectiveness and recommend or implement changes accordingly. So where do training and development managers fit in the businesses? Training and development managers oversee a company's training specialists. Depending on the size of the firm, generally they report to human resources managers, operations managers, or even a CEO. The skills that training and development managers need to possess and why. Skills that are required for them to do their job are as follows. They need business skills, communication skills, critical thinking skills, decision-making skills, collaboration skills, and leadership skills. Training and development managers need to be able to identify the training needs of an organization and recognize where changes and improvements can be made. This may require working in concert with staff, trainees, subject matter experts, and organizations leaders. The education and professional certification that training and development managers need. They need a bachelor's degree that's required in one or more of the following: human resources or business administration. A master's degree is not required, but if you want to obtain that and get the higher jobs, you would get one in training and development. You could be a vice president, human resources management, a vice president as well, and then or an entrepreneur. Work experience in the related occupation. Related work experience is essential for training and development managers. You need experience in the industry, experience in information technology as organizations introduce more e-learning and technology-based tools. Potential career maps, you want to start with your goal in mind. You could become part of corporate America. You would need a bachelor's degree and at least 5 years in a related field can lead to the position of a training and development manager. You could be a trainer, career and technical education teacher, or post-secondary education administration. An entrepreneur, you need a bachelor's plus master's degree. Any previous role that gains you experience and confidence. Previous business, nonprofits, you need to learn to not be afraid to ask for money. And then an entrepreneur can get you to a much higher income ceiling. Other professions that you would be qualified for would be a career and technical education teacher. They instruct students in various technical and vocational subjects such as auto repair, healthcare, and culinary arts. They teach academic and technical content to provide students with skills and knowledge necessary to enter an occupation. A human and resources manager, They plan, direct, and coordinate the administrative functions of an organization, oversee the recruiting, interviewing, and hiring of new staff, consult with top executives on strategic planning, serve as a link between an organization's management and its employees. Post-secondary education administrators, they oversee student services, academics, faculty, research at colleges and universities. Their job duties vary depending on the area of the college they manage. So it could be admissions, or technological changes. Okay, cool. Hey. It's just practice right now. We gotta. Okay, wait. Where is it? I'm losing my phone. There you go.
See?
Okay.
He needs a staple on.
Pretend we have 30 seconds.
Demand for training and development managers. You have 3 keys. You have to how firms decide to hire the training and development managers, and values that the training and development managers have towards the business, and what are the drivers for training and development. How firms decide to hire training and development managers are maintain a competitive edge and maximize profits. The values of a training and development manager is to allow firms to stay inactive and provide a new or improved service and demand. Service and good. Can we start over? Demand for training and development. It has 3 keys. How firms decide to hire. What are the values of training and development managers towards businesses, and what drivers of demand for the training and development managers by businesses. How firms decide training and development managers are to maintain it. They decide by maintaining a competitive edge and maximizing profit. The value of training and development managers towards businesses are to allow firms to stay innovative and provide new and improved service/goods. All firms also to provide their self-respect. Their respect. Dang, I keep messing up.
Just read it in your head.
Ready?
Yes.
All right. Demand for training and development managers. We have 3 keys. That's how to hire. How firms decide to hire, values of training and development managers towards the business, and what are the drivers for demand for the training and development managers towards the businesses, or by the business, how firms decide to hire training and development managers. They have to maintain a competitive edge and maximize profits. The values of training and development towards the businesses is allow firms to stay innovative and provide new and improved services and goods. Allow firms to produce their respective goods and services at a low price through efficient training of staff. Delivers through their thorough and focused approaching to staff development and training. Measure workers by productive and productivity and improvement.
All right.
What are the drivers for training and development managers? Demand and training development managers in highest tech, professional, and scientific industries. Another area in high demand is enterprise. What's that? Constellation management firms. Many companies do not view employment development through training programs as a priority. This may be a high enough number to keep overall demand in training and development managers for increasing. Depending on whether this lack of development, the lack of demand is a greater force than the demand of training and The bad. I gotta start that one over.
While others argue that the owner manager is more likely to invest more in training and development.
Go ahead.
While others argue that owner managers is more likely to invest more in training development. I also have which would then cause the supply curve to go up and to the right. The change in price and production would affect the cost of production and thus the supply.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about market trends for training and development managers. Really, it's the same as it is in many industries out there. Obviously, if companies rely less on training managers because of some type of a technological innovation or another way to train, finding some other way to train their employees, the demand would shift to the left. The opposite of that would potentially increase income. There are industry growth trends in this right now in this industry. Growth in actual numbers of laborers, numbers of employees has steadily increased since 2006. So as the current supply of training and development managers decreases due to the baby boomers that are the baby boomer age that's currently training and development managers, as they're getting out of the workforce, the demand to replace these managers will continue to rise, obviously. So currently, this is a graph of generally what's going on, and definitely applies to 2006 or 2017 too. So it could apply to either. But as the baby boomers are getting out of the workforce, the supply is shifting left, decreasing the amount of training and development managers, which is increasing, which is why we're seeing increasing wages. There's also a general increase in the amount of laborers needed and the amount of training and development managers needed by corporations, just because of new businesses and the growth of existing corporations needing these workers. Total employed in 2017 was 63,000. That's according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. If we were to divide this up as far as age goes, the largest age bracket would be 55 to 64. Over a quarter of the workforce is the baby boomer area, followed by from age 45 to 54 is also about 26%, over a quarter. And then from there, say age 35 to 44 and age 25 to 34, it gets smaller after that. So definitely, this is definitely an older age group in this industry, but it is making opportunity for younger workers. As far as gender goes, 60% of training development managers are female. As far as race goes, 89% are white, 9% are Latino, and 6% are African American. Geographically, we have a lot of training and development managers on the East Coast and the West Coast, more so than in those two areas than in other districts and other areas of the country, with not very much changes happening recently. I mean, we've had a large decrease in New Hampshire, other places of the East Coast. If we want to look at median compensation because of these trends in supply and in demand, because of the decrease in supply in the 55 to 64 age bracket, and the trend in demand, which is a shift right in demand to replace those workers, that's been moving compensation up steadily since at least 2006 and actually before that. So here's median compensation for training and development managers. 2006, the median income was $80,246. 5 years later, it was $91,728. 5 years after that, $105,830. And then just last year, the median was $108,250. So again, for the near future, the trend is still going to be an increase in demand for training and development managers, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and it's over 11% up until about 2026. That's the current factor. The elasticity that what we're seeing, or what we believe in this market, is that it's relatively inelastic. The product quality needed to maintain a competitive hold, it's highly competitive for firms out there. So they obviously want to train their training and development or they also obviously want to train their employees well to maintain quality and quality products, products and services out there. And so they're going to want to hold on to their training and development managers for the most part. So that necessitates that type of training. So just a little bit of insight. I mean, the industry will continue to high demand for new training managers because of the necessity for training to proper skill sets. Demand is relatively inelastic, so it does provide for the consistent increase of wages.